Hello there, dear friends, and welcome. Settle in close, whether you're wrapped up by a crackling fire or listening as the rain taps gently outside your window. Tonight, I've got a tale to share, one of mystery, caution, and a bell that tolls when you least expect it. So get comfortable and listen carefully. Well now, come on in, sit down close by the fire, or if it's raining where you are, pull that blanket up to your chin and listen real good. I've got a story for you tonight, one I've told only a few folks over the years. It's about a small town, a bell, and a rule I wish I'd never forgotten. Back when I was a boy, life moved slow, real slow. The kind of slow that lets you hear the wind whisper through the trees, the creak of a rocking chair, and the tick of an old clock sitting on the mantelpiece. Our little town had just one church way on the edge, where the woods started to close in, and it had a bell tower that stood tall like a lonely sentinel, watching over us all. Now, you might think a church bell is just a bell. Rings in the morning, calls folks to Sunday service, and rings out for weddings or funeral. But that bell, oh, that bell was different, especially at night. There was a rule in town, one whispered at family dinners and passed along like a secret treasure. Don't answer the bell after midnight. And not because the bell was broken or the church was closed. No, sir. There was something about that late-night bell ringing that meant trouble. You see, the bell would sometimes ring after midnight. Not a loud, friendly chime, but a slow, deliberate toll that sent shivers through your bones. Folks said that bell wasn't ringing for us. It was a warning. A call to somewhere else, someplace we weren't meant to go. Now, I was young, and young folks tend to be curious and stubborn. One night, long ago, I heard that bell toll past midnight. It was crisp and clear through the chilly air, echoing off the rooftops and the trees. It felt like the sound came from deep down in your chest, shaking your insides. My heart was pounding, but I couldn't just sit there and ignore it. I got up from my bed, careful not to wake my ma and pa, and walked quietly to the door. The door was cold under my hand when I touched it. I pulled it open, and the night air rushed in, crisp and smelling of damp earth and pine. The street was empty, no neighbors, no animals, no one but the quiet night and that slow, haunting bell. I stepped outside, the old wooden porch groaning under my weight, and looked around. The bell kept tolling, slow and steady, ringing deep into the night. I remember standing there for what felt like hours, just listening. The air was still, except for the sound of the bell. Then something strange happened. Time. It felt like it stopped. Like the whole world had paused and left me behind. When I finally came to my senses and looked at my watch, I was shocked. It was nearly dawn. I'd missed a whole night. And not just that night. 8 days had passed while I'd stood there in the dark. When I went back inside, everything was different. The wallpaper had started peeling more than before. A few things were moved around. Even my ma and pa looked at me strange, worried, like I'd been through something terrible. I told them what happened, about the bell, the stillness, the strange silence. They just shook their heads and said, "You answer that bell, Jerry, and you might not come back right." Over the next few days, I noticed other strange things. The clocks in the house ran slow. The radio would pick up weird static between songs, like faint voices whispering just beyond hearing. I felt like something was watching me, not from outside, but inside the house. The kind of watching that makes your skin crawl and your hair stand on end. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe it was just my imagination running wild, or the stress of missing so many days. But I swear that bell had a hold on me and on our whole town. The story didn't end there, though, no sir. For years after that night, I never dared answer the bell again. And every time it rang past midnight, folks would shut their doors tight, pull curtains, and say a prayer. Some of the older folks told me stories of others who answered that bell. They said those folks were never quite the same after. Some went missing altogether. Others came back, but were different. Like they'd been somewhere, dark and cold, where the sun never shines. I remember one man, old Tom. He was a kind soul, but after one night the bell rang and he answered the door, he came back, quiet and pale. Didn't speak for days. And then, one morning, he just up and left town, never to be seen again. I guess the bell was a kind of doorway, a calling to a place no one alive should visit. So now, whenever I hear a bell after midnight, I don't get curious like I did back then. I pull the covers over my head, listen to the rain or the fire, and wait for morning. You do the same, friend. Some doors should stay closed. Some calls should go unanswered. Well now, that's all for tonight, my friends. Thank you for sitting with me by the fire and lending me your ears for a spell. It always means a lot sharing these old stories with folks like you. Remember, the night is long, but not everything that walks it walks alone. So rest easy, stay warm, and don't go answering any bells after midnight. There's always another tale waiting just beyond the dark. Until next time, sleep well, and I'll be right here waiting with another story. Good night now.